Hello, my friend. Today I'm going to be doing a eBay store audit. Quick disclaimer, take what I say with a grain of salt. You need to find out what works best for you. The only way to do that is through reps and revision over time. So these are just some ideas and suggestions for now. The platform itself may change in the future, so keep that in mind. The setup for this, I put it on as incognito. So I put my browser on incognito so that I don't have previous search suggestion history tracking on eBay. This is a great way to look at your store from the outside view and see where your listings are actually sitting compared to other stores. So, quick background, the person who runs this store reached out to me on Instagram, Glasshouse Goods, after I put up an Instagram story. So, here we are. The things I'm going to be going through and paying attention to are the store presentation, first and foremost, a bunch of things that go with that, and then also the listings themselves, and then basically anything else I can think of. So I guess we'll just jump right in. Here we are, Glasshouse Goods, Australia. First thing I notice is the 100% positive feedback. That's great. 4,600 items sold with 369 followers. That's a pretty solid ratio. As I can see here, all the photography is consistent and also accurate. I think a lot of people overthink the photo aspect. To me, I would just say focus on accuracy because you want your customers, especially if you're doing pre-owned items, you want your customers to get what they see in the photos as opposed to over presenting the item and then running into issues on the back end, whether they get an item and it's just not what they expected. So it's very important to have that accuracy. And as I can see here, there is a cohesiveness across all the listings. Next thing I wanted to look at was actually the feedback. So even if you do have 100% positive feedback, inevitably you may get a neutral or you might get the odd negative. That doesn't necessarily take away your 98, 99, or 100% feedback, but it is on the record. And I think it's still important to pay attention to, even if you are at 100% feedback, to go and look at the neutral or negatives. If you really can't get it removed, I think the best thing to do is actually to reply to some of these. So these were in the past year, past 6 months. These three, which are very basic feedback, I wouldn't worry too much about. This one specifically, though, where they've talked about how the picture is a little bit deceptive, I would just reply to that and acknowledge that you offer free returns and that you tried to message them. And at least then a customer can see that you've made the effort. And so even though you got 100% positive feedback, I would still just suggest replying to those neutrals or negatives just to show potential customers that may want to check your track record that you are in fact a real person running the store. Something else I noticed was actually the coupon. So these are currently running at an extra 10% off with coupons. I know from experience that you'll notice a lot of people are running at 20% and up. If you're unable to do that due to your profit margins, I completely understand. But it's just something worth keeping in mind that a lot of your competition, a lot of the people who are selling in the same categories as you, may be offering better prices and then also stacking it with a coupon that's 20% and up, especially the ones that they maybe send out through newsletters or the offers that they're actually sending out when people are watching the items. So that's just something worth keeping in mind also. Another thing you can do is instead of offering a single item coupon, you can offer a percentage coupon off of multiple items. For example, 25% off three or more items. And a coupon like that, whether you make it as a public coupon or you're sending that out as a newsletter, that can really encourage bulk buys. So I would definitely consider that or look into that if you are able to fit those into your margins because the bulk buys can definitely add up. And I've also noticed that you have a few similar items that a return buyer could come back and buy more than one item from you. So consistent listings, I've got no notes for you there. The only thing I may make a suggestion for is I notice some days are more than others. Let's say I have 21 items for the week. I would schedule out maybe 3 per day. Aim to have a consistent listing streak of say 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, where even though I'm putting up a small amount, I am listing consistently every day. So that way you're hitting the algorithm every single day. But I think what you're doing is fine. So just keep going. I think the main thing is the consistency and also the consistency of quality as well, which I've noticed. As long as you maintain that standard, I don't think you'll have any issues moving forward with momentum. Moving on to title structure, SEO. I was looking at this listing specifically. So you've got Tommy Hilfiger shirt, men's XL. If I wanted to be really picky, what I would actually do is look at the suggestive searches of what people are actually searching. So I might type in Tommy Hilfiger and then basically see, so shirt is popping up fourth. And then I might go, all right, Tommy Hilfiger shirt. And as I can see, Tommy Hilfiger shirts first, but the fourth one there, or technically, I guess the second one, is actually Tommy Hilfiger shirt XL. So that's what people are actually searching. So as you can see here, your listing title says Tommy Hilfiger shirt men's XL. I might actually move that men's after XL. I don't think it's 100% necessary, but if you want to fully optimize it, that is definitely something you could do. So looking at the prices here, you may actually be slightly above market after postage is applied. So you've got $30 plus $10 postage. In terms of the measurements, the only notes I have here is to actually show people how you measure them. Another thing you could also do is on the ruler itself, you could put a sticker or write a piece of paper or put something next to the ruler itself. This is the chest. And then when you switch to the length, you could say, okay, this is the length. So you could potentially use a ruler with a chest sticker on it, like a chest label. So they know that measurement is applied to the chest. And then also with this one, you could put a length sticker on the ruler itself. Not 100% necessary, but just another thing that could make it slightly easier for the customer to understand what the measurement actually is. The way I think about it is upfront, I want to make things as obvious as possible so that if somebody doesn't read the listing itself and they don't read the description, they can at least see everything in the photos. I've heard that you should write the listing as if nobody can see the photos and then do the photos as if nobody is reading the listing. Next thing I noticed was actually in your description. The only thing that I may actually add here is the idea of combined postage. So you can put a sentence here that's like, hey, I offer combined postage, or even message me if you're interested in multiple items, because then some people will read that note, message you, and then ask you for a bulk deal. Moving on to the return policy. Look, you've got 60-day returns, seller pays for return postage. So that's really solid. And also the postage price, $10 flat. But as I mentioned before, I would just check where you are at in the market, especially when it comes to brands like Tommy Hilfiger. Moving on now to the sweatshirt. I just thought I would suggest maybe some extra keywords in the title itself. So maybe baggy or relaxed. I may even mention that it's made in Mexico potentially, or a polyester blend. Something you can actually do is put a sticker over the Study Mate logo. So instead of advertising Study Mate, you could actually put Glasshouse Goods Australia and put a sticker across it. Because if you think about it, you're going to be using those rulers in a lot of photos. May as well be your logo or a label that a customer can get instant utility from. With these Ralph Lauren pants, I might actually consider making a note of what the fly is, but I know as a customer or somebody buying pants, like I personally, whether it's a button or a button fly, or for example, with a shirt, if it's a pearl snap, something worth keeping in mind, whether you're listing jeans, whether you're listing pants, is what is the actual closure? Once again, with the measurements, I would just say because these two photos are quite similar, I would personally know that the length 27 and the cuff itself is 8. However, if I was going to be super picky, a customer may actually look at this and see 28 instead of 27. So I would just once again, so I'd maybe consider putting a little sticker or a little label to say this is the cuff. Then when I do this one, this is the length and this is the waist. Extra label for the customer to reference, because I feel like if you really spell it out, you'll be able to reduce your return rate as you scale up, if you have plans to scale up. Moving on to this super dry jacket. Personally, what I would do is actually put super dry jacket or super dry fleece jacket instead of saying mountain at the front. The third one down says super dry jacket. So in terms of searches, that may actually contribute to putting a listing slightly higher when people search for it. Now that's me zooming right in on these details. I think you would easily sell this item regardless. I know personally, I've sold heaps of items with terrible photos, terrible listing titles, but they're still able to sell through. So even though I am zooming in on these details, the ultimate goal is to sell through the item at a profit. I'm just looking at certain things that may contribute to have you rank higher, and it may be the difference between somebody clicking on your listing or scrolling right past or never even seeing it to begin with. So being able to actually look up these suggestive searches can be really helpful, especially as trends change and also the ways that people search changes as well. Now we're onto this Converse hoodie. I just noticed a spelling mistake in the brand itself. And then if you notice that this one sits longer than you want it to, I would just rearrange this title structure. So I might put vintage Converse hoodie jumper. So at least anybody who's searching Converse hoodie, it pops up. Or if somebody is searching Converse jumper, you could put vintage Converse jumper and then put All Star or remove All Star altogether. Personally, I know that I've sold a lot of Converse All Star just as Converse and they can see it from the photos. So yeah, that's the first store audit done. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. Once again, as my disclaimer said, take everything I said with a grain of salt. Like the best way for you to operate your store and run your business is going to be through practice, revision, through actually running the store itself. And from what I can see from this store, like obviously they're not a beginner. They sold over 4,000 items, like they're crushing it and they just need to keep going. And just a few little tweaks here and there probably help, but this person's going to do well regardless. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, I'm Kiddo, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.